good night, Sir Martin, and welcome to your favorite online internet program. Of course, I'm your host, Christopher Emmanuel, and again, our apologies for the time that we was normally supposed to start, but I want to welcome each and every one of you guys here tonight. Call a friend, call someone, and tell them to log on now to www.sxmtalk.com because we're going to have a pretty interesting program. Trust me, it's going to be very interesting today because there's a number of things that we're going to talk about. There's some issues we're going to talk about. But again, like I said, our apologies for the late start, but we are here. That's another story, but we are here. And you see, I have such a, I just feel good sometimes when I see these sort of things happen. I have here in my hand a report. It came in this envelope. I don't know if you guys can see it good. Okay? It came in this envelope. And this is the report. And the envelope says Social Economics RAT, Social Economic Council, right? And this is what I have here. This is what I have here in my hand. It's the Social Economic Council said advice. St. Martin stepping out of the monetary union. Because you guys know I'm vehemently against dollarizing and coming out of the monetary union. And I was on a program with Lloyd Richardson, and I spoke about it. And maybe I sort of tickled somebody bone or nerve. They decided to send me a report, and their comment was, I haven't even read the report. Let me say this. Thank God now that I read the report. What I read was a newspaper article. But it's a good thing that I read the report. You know why? Because this report did nothing but strengthen my resolve as to why stepping out and dollarizing will be the most detrimental thing to us here in St. Martin. Most detrimental thing. And I must say, it's a good report at that. It's a very good report, you know, because it gives information on dollarizing and monies and central bank and thing. And like I said on the news today, what this does, again in this report, and you see, because the report is a number of pages, right? I just want to highlight certain things in the report. That's all I want to do. Highlight certain things in the report. But there's a website. You guys can go on the website and you can get this report for yourself. However, me, Christopher, your humble servant, I would do my due diligence. I would do you guys a favor. I would make a number of copies of this report. Anyone who wants to get their hands on this report, give me a call, 523-7348. And I can we can meet, and I will give you a copy of this report. Because, you know, yes, it's good to go on the website, but yes, in this day and age, many people still don't have internet. And reading is something still probably a bit hard for us to do. But you guys need to read this report. I have it here with me. And I want to thank the SET and the SG for finding it fit to see to it that I get a copy of the report. And again, like I said, all this report did is strengthen my resolve as to why we should not step out or we should not dollarize. And there's a lot of things I want to talk about, but I just want to read. Just a few things that I highlighted in the report. On page 12, number 6. While removing the threat of currency crisis with dollarization, this will also mean permanently removing exchange rate adjustment from the policy toolkit, leaving wages and price flexibility as the principal method to recover competitiveness. Given current weaknesses in competitiveness, dollarizing without first enhancing wage and price flexibility risk lacking in extending low growth with unfortunate consequences on fiscal sustainability and employment. Summing up, a full dollarized economy becomes more vulnerable to real and fiscal shocks due to restrictions that full dollarization imposes on policymakers. However, this is only a consequence in the case of devaluation, since the PEC has never been used in St. Martin. That is just one part that I want to read. Another part that I want to read for you guys is this. Taking above mentioned into consideration, we conclude that by itself, dollarization would not improve St. Martin's social, economic, and political environment. This can only be achieved with responsible policy decisions, ensuring that short-term stability develops into long-term economic growth. So, to make a long story short, St. Martin, dollarization will be disastrous for St. Martin. But let me tell you guys what I think and what I feel, right? All due respect to the members of the SED, all due respect, Rennie Richardson, Arthur Butte, Junior Lake, Dwight Williams, William Reed, you know, and the name goes on and on, Elaine Vlon Gums, you know, all due respect to the 9 members on this board. And out of the 9 members, 7 of them voted in favor of St. Martin stepping out and agreeing, right, with this document. But let me say this again, like I said on the news, when I listen to the said in the newspaper, and now that I'm reading this policy, again it comes back to St. Martin suffering because of a consequence that is going on in Curacao. Not necessarily in the central bank, but a political crisis in terms of funding and monies in Curacao is why St. Martin now, they are saying, will feel the pinch or will hurt. So again, what this does, it leaves me to question our leaders. It leaves me to question individuals who are saying 30% of this belongs to St. Martin. This belongs to us. So I'm asking the question to all of us here. And I'm also asking the question to the said. What is St. Martin ownership? What is St. Martin percentage? What is St. Martin reserves? What is it that St. Martin owns in this central bank? Because when I listen to you guys, it comes down to Curacao owning and controlling everything. And if that is the case, then our leaders have been lying and fooling us over the years. Because really and truly, we own nothing in the central bank. Nothing belongs to us. Nothing belongs to us. Because I don't understand, right, how there seems to be a worsening situation in Curaçao's financial situation and St. Martin have to pay for it. What is it that St. Martin owns in this central bank? What is our shares? Because when we look at what is going on, it is easy for Curaçao to pick up themselves, come to St. Martin and say, oh, the former Netherlands and Antilles don't exist anymore. This was a federal building. So we own this, we own that, we own this. St. Martin cannot pick up themselves and go down Curacao and say 30% of this building belongs to us, 10% of this belongs to us. So again, what is it that we own? What is it belongs to us in this central bank? Because based on this report that the SED come up with is telling me St. Martin don't have a problem. Curacao have a problem. Curacao have a problem. And again, right, their pros and cons are weak and vague. As a matter of fact, they are given more substance to why one should dollarize. And I'm going to say this to the SED. I am disappointed in your arguments, because when I look at the arguments and I read your arguments, it's copy and paste, okay, from a number of things that we could have gone and looked for. But talking about the real issues here in St. Martin, like you mentioned, the social environment, okay, the price of food controls, the hyperinflation on goods, our import and export, All right, the product on St. Martin, the reality of St. Martin has not been mentioned, is not mentioned in this report because numbers and stats cannot be gathered. So what are we really basing that St. Martin should dollarize? Because Curacao has a financial crisis, right? And they're going to drag down the whole St. Martin, drag down the whole Curacao, drag down the whole central bank, and devalue the currency. I am saying this, and let me say this with St. Martin, and let me go on record saying this. Anytime St. Martin up to dollarize and leave the monetary union, Curacao will keep the guild down. You know why Curacao will keep the guild down? Because they have all the institution, expertise, and necessary framework to keep the money going. And that is what they want. They don't want to share or give St. Martin nothing that belongs to them. And do I blame them? No, I don't blame them. Let me tell you why I don't blame them. Because we don't have no leaders in this country, okay, to go and demand what is St. Martin's share and what we own. We don't have it. Everybody in St. Martin seems to be afraid of Helman Wills and his mouth. Okay? Our leaders have been lying to us because none of them could come and say what we own. What percentage of the dismantling of the Netherlands Antilles belongs to St. Martin? What is our share? We can't get an answer from no one. But we must dollarize. I am saying this to the Senate. I don't agree with your position. As a matter of fact, I would go as far and go on record to say that the Senate and their members are simply appeasing their political parties that appointed them to their position. Because it is those individuals who will benefit from dollarizing. And that's all it is. Because in the first government, in the first coalition government, they spoke about dollarizing, dollarizing, dollarizing. And that is the intentions still. As a matter of fact, let me say it plain. All right? Let me say it plain. Rennie Richardson, DP. Williams, DP. Okay? And there's many more on the board that was appointed by the Democratic Party. And they are appeasing their political establishment, all right, because of their appointed position. So what we have here is a group of individuals, right, who are safeguarding their position where they're on and not looking really at the consequences and the cost of the country. That's the reason why I am saying the information from the Senate strengthened my resolve as to why we need to stand up, fight, grab the bull by its horn, and demand what is St. Martin's shares. And I'm going to go even much further. Here we have the Dutch opening their mouth all the time. St. Martin this and St. Martin that and St. Martin this. This is a consequence of you not doing your work, Holland. And this is what I'm saying. We need to turn and aim our cannons to the Netherlands for neglecting their responsibility towards the former Netherlands Antilles, as the reason why now we have Curacao claiming everything and want to drag St. Martin down. You call that recolonization, because Holland knew exactly what was going on, what is happening, and they did nothing because they want us to fail so that they can step in with their big colonial foot and control these islands over again. That is the intentions of Holland. So Holland, I'm saying this, right? We have agreements that was made. We sign agreements. What is your responsibility? Huh? Because you expect St. Martin to fail. We are holding our own with our budgets. Huh? We are living up to the regulation of the CFT. We are doing it. Curacao is not doing it. And because of their failing in their agreements, we are being dragged down. And I'm saying that's unacceptable. Holland, you have a responsibility to see to it, okay, that your subjects in these colonies are safeguarded. And you're not doing it because you want us to fail. And I am saying this to our leaders. It is time we expose the Netherlands, the House of Orania, and the Hague for what they are doing here in these islands. We need to take them to the United Nations for neglecting their responsibility. Goodness gracious, man. We need leaders in this country. That's what we need. Leaders in this country. They have lied to us. They have fooled us too many times over the years. Now, this is what is happening. All right? This is what is happening. Talk to Sabre. Talk to Stacia. And talk to Carissa and Bonaire. Many people believe that because you're making 2,000 guilders, you're going to get $2,000. No, my friend. No. The conversion will be made in your salaries, but not in the grocery stores. So they're going to fix the price in your salary, but not in the grocery store. So what was costing a guilder would cost $1. But in your salary, if you was making $1,000 or 1,000 guilders, all right, listen to me. Listen to me. You'll be making $600 to $700. You'll be making $600 to $700. And that's the thing. You're not going to get the equivalent. Don't think because you're making 3,000 guilders or 3,600 guilders, you're going to get $3,600. No, you're going to get $2,000. And it all depends on your exchange rate. You might even get less. And that's why they need to come out and speak and talk the truth to the people of St. Martin. We have leaders in this country who are comfortable because they all have made it now, and they are the ones that would survive in any economy that goes on here in St. Martin. Any economy, they will survive. Okay? Where are the pros and cons of dollarization? Where is it? And this is the reason why I don't want to say to them. I want the people of St. Martin to read this report for themselves. I want you guys to read it for yourself. And then you're going to understand what I'm talking about. Okay? St. Martin is doing well. We are holding our own amidst all the trials and tribulations. And we have Curacao, the government, that is pulling us down. I listened to the news today, and you have HNA's former Prime Minister of the Netherlands Antilles, who is now chairman of the financial board in Curacao, is saying to Curacao, do not opt out of the monetary union. Do not do it. A number of individuals are saying, you have one politician, Helmut Wheels, is saying yes. And I am saying to myself, right, this is my alternative. Sorry. This is my solution. We need to be grown up. We need to come to the realization that we are leaders in a country, and we are here for the country and not our political establishment and survival. We are here for the country. If we don't want to maintain what we have, let us come as leaders of countries, sit around a table, have a discussion, a truthful and honest discussion about the pros and cons. All right? Invite Sabre, Stacia, and Bonaire, not the Dutch. Invite the political leaders in the country. And let us sit down and say, listen, guys, we are stronger together than apart in our monetary and fiscal policies. We don't want to keep the Antillean guilder because it doesn't exist no more. Let us go for the Dutch Caribbean guilder. We are going to split up the central bank. Each country is going to have a certain amount of shares, and we're going to continue the functioning. Okay? And Curacao must come to the realization that you no longer have control over the Antilles. So what we're going to do is have a rotation of the presidency. Okay? Every 2 years. Yes, the headquarters could remain in Curacao because of the facilities. All right? But it is better for us, like the Eastern Caribbean currency. All right? How is it that they are maintaining it and it's being done? The headquarters for the Eastern Caribbean currency is located in St. Kitts. Okay? But St. Lucia is bigger than St. Kitts. Antigua is bigger than St. Kitts. Dominica is bigger than St. Kitts. St. Vincent and the Grenadines and Grenada, they are much bigger than St. Kitts. They all use the EC currency. They all use it. But the headquarters of the central bank is in St. Kitts and the presidency rotates. How is it that they are getting it done, but we can't? Why are they not dollarizing? But we are talking about our own this and our own that. It's going to cost us much more. And this is the reason why when I read this report, I maintain my stance. Let us be mature political leaders and not political stooges for parties. Let us come to the realization that we have new babies that we are raising in terms of a country. We are only here for a time. But you cannot go down in history as the leaders that have the country suffering. Let us have a serious talk. A serious talk. Maintain the currency that we have. Change the name. But let us maintain the currency that we have. You must understand, Carousel, that your size does not dictate, okay, your power in terms of control. Not anymore. Thus the reason why we are all separate. Okay, but in one aspect, we are one set of people with close family ties and relations, cultures, traditions. And whilst we are separating all ourselves, everybody else is coming together. It cannot be that one individual and one political party must make a decision, okay, for two countries. It should not be that way. And that's why I'm saying it to the saying. You are just appeasing your political establishment to maintain your position. That's all it is. Because if it was not the case, okay, if that was not the case, you would not be saying what you're saying. So everyone who wants to know, right, the website, it's www.sersxm.org. Again, www.sersxm, one word, .org. SaidStMartin.org. And you can get the report there. All right, but I ain't done with the said yet, and I ain't done with the individual, because I know somebody gonna call him and tell him, listen to what Christopher's saying, and they're gonna come at me. But I'm waiting for you guys to come, because you need to be exposed and come up and talk to the people and give them the pros and cons, because your report lacks the pros and cons. It lacks the reality of what St. Martin goes through on a daily basis. It's a good report, but it lacks information in terms of show me the money. Where's the beef? Your report lacks that. But again, it is unacceptable that government feel they're going to adopt a policy and shove it down the throats of the people of St. Martin. It should not be that way. And if any reform should come in terms of our money, it should be done in a referendum. And I, for one, would be campaigning against dollarization. That's my stance on this issue. I want to go and jump on the back now of the SHTA and Emil Lee. And I read his piece in the newspaper today in relations to the tobacco and the alcohol and the taxes, and Emily representing the business and this. I have one question I have for Emily, right? What's the alternative? What's your suggestion? Because this is a problem I have with the SHTA, okay? First they was in favor of this, then they're in favor of that, then you shouldn't do this, then you shouldn't do that, and then you're representing the businesses, and then you're what about St. Martin? It is the people of St. Martin that patronize many of those businesses that you're talking about. St. Martin don't have a money problem. in terms of taxes, what we have is a compliance problem. Since you want to come out, Mr. Lee, and talk about the businesses, why don't you encourage the businesses to pay their fair share of taxes? Casinos owe millions in taxes. Many of the businesses that you represent have tax breaks. What are they giving back to the community of St. Martin? This is the reason why we are in the situation that we are in. Okay? So what must we do? Sit back, roll over, play dead, and die? No. No. Tax the alcohol, yes, and tax the cigarette. It's a small bit to a bigger problem, Mr. Emily. And if you're talking, then come up with alternatives and solutions. Let me tell you the problem I have with this guy. You just was granted your Dutch citizen. Give the people of St. Martin a chance to run their own country. You guys just come from wherever you want to come from, and by your color or whoever you are, you get thrown in an organization, in a board, and you feel you could don't talk to the people and don't talk to government in St. Martin and say it however you want. Listen to me. You guys need to leave this country because you're not good for St. Martin. You're only looking out for your own interests, but the entire country you don't care about. Yes, you're representing business, but tell the businesses and them to pay their fair share. And then St. Martin wouldn't have to be in the situation that they're in, looking for monies to continue the day-to-day functioning. It is because of those taxes why those businesses are still functioning. It's a domino effect. One hand washes the other. Okay? So what is the alternative? What are these businesses putting back in? What are they coming up with? What are they giving back? St. Martin, we're going to have some serious hard days ahead of us, because there's an unseen hand, an individual set of people out there, a group that is hard bent on squeezing blood, the last drip, okay, out of the St. Martin people. They scraping the kong out of the pot, and you mustn't get nothing. And these are the individuals that will benefit from dollarization. The leaders and the politicians, they are the ones that will benefit from it, not you and I. The MLEs and the SHTAs, they are just on a board collecting huge fat monies just to talk and to represent their own. We don't need no SHTA. I think it's time governments have to look into another organization to represent business. Okay? Because you guys need to be working hand in hand with government. Whenever it comes to the businesses, they're always the first ones to ball. It is the people of St. Martin that patronize your businesses. So, again, to Mr. Emily, my question to you: what's the alternative? That's our program for tonight. St. Martin people, take care of yourself. Enjoy the weekend. God bless each and every one of you guys. Goodbye.
There was a time when people dare not utter a word. There was a time when people were in the dark and searching for accurate information. Just when all hope is lost and frustration hangs in the balance, XSM Talk emerges and broke the silence. Join host Christopher Emmanuel for live and serious discussions and hard talk. There was a time when people dare not utter a word. There was a time when people were in the dark and searching for accurate information. Just when all hope is lost and frustration hangs in the balance, XSM Talk emerges and broke the silence. Join host Christopher Emmanuel for live and serious discussions and hard talk.